What's up, everybody? Today is August 10th, 2026, and here is how I won $485 on my 25k eval. Two things before I start this trade recap. Yes, I'm not wearing a shirt. It's hot as fuck in my room. I have my fan on. Second thing is, I hope the quality is better for you guys. I don't know why the last video was like that. I'm really sorry. But other than that, let's get into this trade recap. I am a little bit pissed because I was so close to passing my eval, and I actually think that this was something wrong with Lucid because they had an announcement. Anyways, you can see that my fill and RR is fucked, but we'll get into the trade recap, why I took it, because I saw a lot of people today not take trades or actually lose today, and I was able to actually catch a win in these weird ass conditions. I'm gonna close my fan. But anyways, coming into the day, what was my bias? So actually, I'm gonna turn the fan back on. I hope that you guys can still hear me. Um, but anyways, coming into the day, I was more short-term bearish. Now, the reason with that is due to this recent expansion leg. So if we go back to 9:30, because a lot of people were more bullish, and I saw that some people did not want to take shorts, which is somewhat fine. However, knowing when to use conditions is the key. So we have this recent expansion leg, right? Sunday PO3 right here. Sunday opens up. And I'm gonna get into weekly PO3. That's what I meant. But Sunday opens up, right? First, what does it do? Generate liquidity, and then expands lower. So now what we can assume is, yes, higher time frame, we are technically more bullish, right? We have all-time highs right here, and then ES is also nearing all-time highs. However, it's not too close. So my sort of bias, my sort of bias for the day was using the condition as this 30 minutes. So if we're going to respect it, then we can expect sell side, right? All of these sort of lows right here, maybe the 4-hour internal low. However, if we disrespect it, right, I can see longs. I wouldn't really want to take longs from this 1 hour just because ES inversed it and it didn't really look good to me. But anyways, here are executions. Here are the P&L. Right, you can see 485. I was not able to trade this on the 50k, and honestly the 50k it's been for a long time, so I might just risk even more heavy. But this 25k, I've had practically 100% win rate on. This was a break even. This was honestly some fucking bullshit. Like, it wasn't even a trade. It was just error. So the rest of it has been 100% win rate. And yes, I did risk heavy on this, or more heavier. I think it was like 300, 350. But my RR was trying to pass the eval. But anyways, also, I low-key am a market maker. This was me live trading. I know it looks stupid. Don't like take a picture, but this is exactly the scenario that I saw, right? And I promise you, like, this is live time. This is not fucking any screenshots. But anyways, coming into the actual day and what I was seeing. So mainly, yeah, I was short-term bearish using this 30-minute as our condition, right? Especially what I've seen before is whenever we have a 30-minute opening up and we have some sort of lower time frame AMD model, right, something like this, I always see us getting some sort of Judas or some sort of setup. So I like to capitalize on that because Judases are my favorite. And then also with this 1 hour, I didn't really see a long from here. Like, I didn't see an opportunity. I mean, I could somewhat see it, but I mean, ES already inversed it, although it did have a 30-minute. But anyways, getting into the actual day itself. So what did 930 first do? When 930 first added to the LR, yes, it did technically manipulate into this 5-minute right here. But however, I even said live time, I'd rather keep it unmitigated just because then what we would have is LRL leading up to an unmitigated. However, I didn't care too much because the 5-minute is weak, right? Only if we were to sweep this 1 hour intermediate low, then I would really care. And yes, we did sweep it on ES, but again, the reason I didn't care about that is because it's already practically inverse on the 1 hour, so there's no really significance, but more because it's defending all of these swing lows right here, a ton of LR. And on the higher time frame, we only have draws very external. So again, that is exactly why I set conditions, because if this 30-minute were to get disrespected, then what can I assume? That we're going to start trending towards these, right? We do have good draws to the upside, right? We have London highs with equal highs, and we have this 1 hour also unmitigated. That was my condition as well. But I mainly saw us, if we were going to be short-term bearish and use this 30-minute, is to manipulate into it with 930 and then give us shorts lower, and from there seeing what we can capitalize on. Now, going now more onto the 15-second time frame to kind of get into deeper with price. You see, what do we clearly have? This is a very beautiful AMD. Like this whole thing right here is practically accumulation. You know, a little bit more deeper, you would say that this is the accumulation. The manipulation is this right here, and then the distribution is all down there. But there was also, now, you know, getting into more internal price, there was this 15-second CISD. The reason I didn't take it is for two reasons. I wanted to see ES be more bearish, because at the time it was only showing signs of bullishness. And second is, I didn't want to force anything. To be quite honest with you, I only trade IFGs, which is why this is more of a discretionary trade. Because it's only a CISD based trade, not IFGs. However, something I've been incorporating in with back testing is CISDs and IFGs like paired. I've never really done only CISD. However, I was really confident in this, so I was fine. And I just needed the body closure, right? But now, once we see what price is doing, now we see that what do we get? Well, now we get our stop hunt. However, this is not just a normal stop hunt. There's two reasons why that this stop hunt is very, very, very important. So what makes, you know, a regular stop hunt better than this? The first reason is turtle soup. If you guys don't know what that means, it's basically when a swing high, so in this case, just gets wicked out, right? No body closure at all, just purely wicked out, and boom. That's the one thing that I love to see, right? Turtle soup. I know it's stupid, because anybody that doesn't trade is gonna wonder why the fuck a turtle is on my screen, but you know, it's very good. And that's also one of the things that I've been looking more at, you know, preference and nuances wise to my trades. And the second thing is CE. Whenever we hit CE of a gap, which is, you know, equilibrium, or, you know, the 0.5 percent of it, that is very, very key to see if we are going to reject from there. Well, you know, we can expect now the displacement, right? So we had initial mitigation CE, initial mitigation sweep, and then CE of it. And then we also had our PO3 with 930, right? 930 did what? Well, 930 left a wick on both sides, right? So now all we're basically looking for is for 930 to take out one side to then displace back to the other, because whenever 930 leaves big wicks like this, although yes, it isn't a 5-minute, but the 5-minute is weak, right? 930 likes to go back to these wicks, and think of it sort of as data candles in a way. So getting into more internal price, when I was looking at price right here, I was just waiting for a strong body closure. I was looking at, you know, my screen being right here, you know, NQ and ES. I did see that ES had this I think 2-minute right here. I didn't care for it to inverse. I literally just wanted a strong body closure. Now, looking on the 15-second time frame, sorry, what do we have? We get exactly that. Now, however, my fill was terrible, because once it inversed, right, I was looking more on trading view on my monitor rather than trade C on my computer, and then I only entered, and I had to kind of get my risk and position actually proper, because yeah, I was trying to risk a little bit more to pass the eval, and then it ended up just, you know, having, I think my stop loss was somewhere around here. Honestly, I don't even fucking remember. And then yes, I know technically 0.6 RR, but I was aiming for more than a 1-to-1 initially, way more. I don't know why the fuck it did that. But then yeah, my fill was around here, and then take profit here. However, you know, I think that Lucid did make an announcement saying how like there was an error, and I was wondering why I hit profit in like literally 10 seconds. Like, this is the fastest time that I've ever taken profit, which is insane. This feels like a fucking gamble scalp, but it's not, because it's a proper setup, right? And then I'll get a little bit more deeper. But yeah, anyways, that's basically it. So it literally, I risked 10 of them. However, it was 2 separate trades, which is again kind of fucking weird. And how did I get filled separately? I'm low-key gonna take a screenshot for that, I can't lie, because like Lucid has to pass my eval, because this is some bullshit. But anyways, yeah, so that's basically it. But now getting even more deeper into that, one of the things again that I always mention, and I think I'm just gonna mention this in every single fucking YouTube recap that I make, AMD XPO3. Now, what again am I, you know, referring to? Well, it is exactly what I just said. Well, what do we have right here? We had our accumulation, clear accumulation. Fuck, I'm gonna do it on my trading view because I have it set up here. We have our clear accumulation, right, which is also this entire fucking box, right? This entire range we've been accumulating, which is what I love to see pre-market. What do we have right after that? Well, we have manipulation. Yes, technically this is the manipulation leg. However, we don't really have any clear displacement, right? And I would like to see a better, sort of stop hunt and rejection, especially with the way ES was. And then what do we have right after that? We have a big fat displacement. Look at this fucking 1 minute candle. I literally, what the fuck? I hit take profit in again like 10 seconds, even though my fill was ass. This entire candle, these two candles itself are 100 points, which is not a lot. Um, sorry, in today's sort of price with Nasdaq, because 100 move is normal. However, in 2 minutes like this is very clean, very nice. A lot of volume, but again, we had our AMD, and then again peeled three, seeing how 930 opens with one both wick treated sorry, as more of a breakout range. So when we break out of this, we can expect that. If we did, however, break out of this range, I wouldn't really want to see anything. Like if we do take out this 1 hour, and this is a trade that I saw right after, that I'm gonna kind of explain it. Right here, there was this trade right here. There was also another 15-second, which I kind of saw, and I honestly wanted to take it, just not off this, off once we hit the 30-second gap of it, because I realized that my eval wasn't passed and I needed literally less than $200. I literally told myself, if this 30-second like gets a good sort of retracement and then flips bullish, so sort of on this candle, to take something. However, I was also telling myself, if I were to lose this setup, I'd be pretty fucking pissed, because I'm kind of more scalping rather than trading, and trying only focusing on passing the eval rather than taking a good trade, which in my opinion this was a very nice trade, especially the way I trade, more discretionary wise, especially now utilizing PL3 and low time frame IFGs. But yeah, so I think that this trade wasn't wasn't really the worst. I didn't really like the targets, kind of, because like you're already targeting this like 30-minute internal high. However, lower time frame, it looks also nice. Like you do have that AMD and LRL structure. ES was kind of weird at the time, but like there's an SMT with it, so I don't think it's a really bad trade, honestly. It is also right before 9:45, which I don't like. However, like 9:45 honestly doesn't have anywhere to manipulate, because if we were, we would have to go all the way to this 4 hour. But like if we're clearly rejecting this right here, like strongly, right after this like bullish candle, right, leaving a huge fat ass wick, you can kind of assume that we're just gonna displace, and that's basically what we did. But yeah, other than that, really, this was a great trade. CISD base, yes, not my normal IFEG entry model, but an entry model is, sorry, IFEGs are simply only an entry model, right? That doesn't define your actual capability to trade and read the market. And that's fine if you faded this. Honestly, I think it's fair, because you would need to have insane conviction and discretion in this. And today was not an obvious day, right? I do think, however, though, if your bias, or not even your bias, if you weren't using this 30-minute as a condition, that's something wrong, in my opinion. Because again, I was short-term bearish, high time frame bullish, so I was understanding that we could get shorts from this 30-minute, right? Especially because we have this pre-market AMD structure, and then we can get manipulation and distribution from it, which is exactly what we got, which is exactly what this little fucking cutie literally marked out. This was 9:29, keep in mind. I told myself I didn't want to take this pre-market 1 minute, because I knew it was gonna hit the 30-minute, but I don't want to take that just in case like 9:30 just wicks and then does that, which it actually did exactly that. But yeah, anyways, then I fucking market maker, yeah, so I predicted today's sort of trade and stuff, but it was really nice. And then after that, I don't think we got anything else really. We hit the 1 hour, which again, after that, I could have seen rejection. However, we were, on ES having more stronger draws, especially on NQ as well. I was sort of looking for a higher time frame con here, being a 15-minute. However, we never opened one up. There was a 5-minute, which is like, you already take your objective. But I do like the sort of AMD as well here, right? And then you sort of have a big rejection already, and then you get your displacement. So I think it's okay. I think this would have ended break even, because like SMT with that. Not something I'd really take though. And also on that same note, I was looking for a mech right here. Like there was like some 15 seconds against CISD, but it was way more wackier. And I was like, the only reason I was still on the charts after taking this dub is simply because I wanted to pass the eval. However, I told myself like, bro, if it's not obvious, don't force it. So I was really disciplined this session. Like I stuck to my rules, stuck to my training plan. If you're not able to like sit on your ass, um, and just not take a trade, there's something more wrong than you know, psychology wise. Like that's kind of fucking stupid. You're a kid. Don't be a bum. But anyways, after that, what do we have to actually do after that? I think we started to just chop more, and then after that, yeah, just some bullshit. But basically, that was practically the only trade of the day, other than this one, basically, and then I wouldn't really count this one. But in my opinion, trade of the day, very discretionary. Shout out to any single person who took this. I know someone that did. But other than that, I hope you guys did learn a lot. And you know, the greatest thing that I can say that is helping me to improve my trading, because I've been stuck on a 50k eval for a while. But the second I got on this 25k and I was saying to myself, I'm gonna trade it more discretionary, right? I'm already passing it within practically 2 weeks. I think 3 weeks maximum, 3 weeks, anyways, with like practically 100% win rate. So anyways, I hope you guys do like that YouTube video and that you learned a lot from it. Trade recaps are going to be posted every single day whenever I trade. And let me know what you guys think about it, and drop a comment down below if you guys took anything today, what you faded. And then either way, I do think that this week will be good. I even told one of my boys, because like we have CPI, PPI. So although Monday and Tuesday doesn't seem like the highest probability, which is why, again, like if you didn't trade today, completely fine. I didn't see anything really, really obvious. But other than that, I do have good hopes, and we are 100% going to pass this fucking eval. If not today in Asia session or tomorrow New York AM, 100%, you know, boys, and we're gonna get that payout. Anyways, guys, see you in the next video. Much love, much peace. Subscribe if you haven't. We're close to 200. Let's go.